why do you go for Liverpool? Start off why we go for the clubs.
Well, the first Premier League game I ever went to was at Stamford Bridge, 2011, Chelsea versus Liverpool, and the person I was going with was a Chelsea supporter, so I just naturally went for the opposite team. And I believe, quote me if I'm wrong, I think Glenn Johnson scored a winner in like the 80th minute and they won 2-1. I could have been a Chelsea fan, Sam. I could have been a Chelsea fan. But
That's not right. You've told that story a lot of times, so it's going to be embarrassing.
Well, I could pull it up and fact check you. Why do you support United, Simon? I don't think you've ever told me. Apart from maybe David Beckham.
Yeah, well, I mean, I, like probably a lot of people in the world, grew up being a massive David Beckham fan. One, just because he's just one of those guys that was in the headlights at a time when a lot of people were just sort of starting to recognise soccer players as celebrities. But so he was sort of the main guy, and he had the haircuts, he had the girls, he had everything like that, had the goals. And yeah, I just was a massive Beckham fan, and that naturally led me to following United. The first game I ever actually turned on and saw him playing was the game we scored from halfway. Ever since that moment, it was kind of like a bit of a love affair. And naturally, when he left United, it was either like, well, do you become a club hopper or do you stay with that team? And I've kind of stuck with them. It's hard to obviously support them from the other side of the world, but I would definitely have to say they're my team when they play everyone else.
What about you, Mr. Verney?
I only went to Liverpool because of Harry Kewell.
Really?
Yeah. Did I tell you this?
Yeah.
I was a big Harry Kewell fan. Like I had his jersey and everything back when I was 10.
Frisky, can you hear them better now? I turned them up.
And well, I could have been a Leeds fan if you think about it, Mike Viduka, Harry Kewell. But I was watching football when Harry Kewell was at Liverpool, and then sort of it was the same era as that FA Cup game against West Ham. Obviously Istanbul. So you love an underdog story if those comebacks, and then yeah, that's probably why I'm a Liverpool supporter and haven't stopped since.
Liverpool's an easy team to support for someone who's looking for a team.
Yeah, well,
they're very likable.
There's always good stories, and it's like it's romantic, isn't it? When you go for Liverpool,
it's like you want a team with history, unlike Man City.
I thought you were going to say United.
No, United has just as much history as us. That's one thing I can't banter. That's one thing I can't banter.
All right, now we can get into it if you like. We can get into the preview. Go on.
Okay. Simon. What were you going to say, Simon?
So the one thing I would say is that it's easy to support Liverpool at the moment because they're definitely up there winning and they're doing.
Oh yeah, now, but I was like
watching everyone else.
Like Vinny was saying, like people would be just watching videos on YouTube of like things that happened years ago, like the Champions League against AC Milan and stuff. It's just easy to latch on to those sort of things. But let's start with the top 6. And we'll start from the bottom.
Oh.
So we'll go around everyone who they think is going to finish 6th. Does anyone want to start?
I think we've all got the same one. I think we've all got the same one. Maybe Simon's got something different, but I think we've all got the same one.
Do you want to start, Simon?
Yeah, well, look, I'm optimistic, and I hope that this doesn't happen, but I'm actually going to put United in 6th.
United!
I've got United as well!
Oh, I don't have United.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have United.
I did not see that coming. I
think mine's a bit of a hot take.
Have you got like Villa or something?
No.
Have you got?
I have Chelsea
Yeah, I see that.
because
Is it because they have no strikers?
yeah, like if
Yeah.
you were looking at that front line of Sterling, Havertz, and probably Pulisic,
Oh,
you wouldn't be confident in saying like one of them would get 15 Premier League goals.
yeah. No,
Like
I get that.
Sterling's a great player. Like he could probably get you like 10 goals and a few assists, but I have heard they're in talks with getting a Aubameyang,
I heard that.
which could be an interesting signing for them because it's like he probably fit the way that they play because they just need someone that can score up top.
Was Aubameyang loaned out or was he bought by Barca?
He was bought.
Was he? You know how much?
Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Like they bought him 6 months later.
Yeah, and he's already gone. And they're trying to get rid of Depay as well, which is interesting. Well, yeah, I have Chelsea, and then I guess we can move into fifth where I have United.
I've got Chelsea.
Yeah, see, like, I think I changed my list about 4 times during the week. And obviously, like, in a few weeks it'll probably change because, like, there's still time for teams to sign players and stuff.
You wait till Arsenal lose in 12 hours. We're going to change it up again. So, Simon, who do you have a fifth?
I have this is a tough decision to make for me because I think that there's kind of like a few factors going each way. So ultimately, I have sort of kept a similar theme to maybe how the table finished this year and put Arsenal in fifth. My reasoning for that and the reason why I think it could change is because if they do get someone like Tielemans in, I think he's possibly the one player that they're missing.
That's the only thing that scares me about Arsenal is if Partey gets injured again, they are on ropes.
Yeah, there's a few other things as well that I would say. I think that fundamentally they've still got a very young squad, and they showed last year in some of those pressure games that they're probably just not quite up to it yet in terms of really like closing out those games that they need to win to get themselves into the top 4, which is what happened last year. And I think they've added some really good experience, and I think that they'll push really hard this year. But I don't know if I think they have the greatest defence, and with that young team, I think that there's a good chance they might not make it into the top 4. But there's every chance that Jesus comes in and adds 16 goal involvements and pushes them in there. But I just think that if I'm a betting man, I've got to bet fifth.
Yeah,
I think 4, 5, and 6 are wishy-washy.
You can
Even 7 and 8.
interchange. There's an argument to put
West Ham.
Because there's an argument to put like Chelsea, United, Arsenal in 4th, 5th, or 6th, and you could agree with it.
Yeah,
because it's
even like maybe if United have another bad season, you never know. West Ham might have another good one.
Yeah, and West Ham signed the Italian Scamacca, which is a interesting Scamacca's. I think he had like 15 goals in Serie A last season.
So what's that? What does that equal to? About 2 Prem goals?
Yeah, maybe like seven Prem goals.
Well, we've just completely isolated the entire Serie A audience.
Well, I think Sam left as soon as I put Chelsea at 6th.
I assume, Charles, you've got Arsenal at 4 then.
I do.
Yeah, so do I. So I think we've got the same 4, 5, 6, just in different orders.
Yeah, so I had Arsenal in 4th, but it does scare me though with the depth that they have in the midfield, because like if they get one injury, even if it's like Odegaard, like they don't have someone that can step into that midfield and have the same impact. But they have a better starting lineup than most of the teams fighting for that position. It's just, I don't know about their depth. Because I think this weekend they have to play Ben White at right back because Tomiyasu's injured. So, like, it's a bit concerning. But I know that they're still trying to pick up Tielemans, which would be a good signing if they picked him up.
I think they're definitely going to get him.
Yeah,
I think
it's
they will
looking like that.
because Leicester are. We're getting to relegation later, but Leicester are folding a little bit.
If they lose, yeah, because Maddison's linked to Newcastle as well.
Is he?
Yeah, but I think
Michael's gone as well, right? So
yeah, it's an interesting. Not good for my fantasy.
Also,
Not good for my fantasy.
That, obviously, Arsenal want Tielemans, and he said that he wants to go there. But also, there's the fact that he's only got a year left on his contract. So if they don't sell him now, he goes for free next summer. So
yeah, so
get something for him now, or he leaves for free next summer. So that's the reason why I think they're going to sell him. He wants to go to Arsenal. Arsenal want him. Leicester are going to want to get some cash for him. Just seems like it's got to happen.
Because I haven't seen any other teams linked with Tielemans other than Arsenal.
Which is strange. I have seen some links with United, but I mean United's linked with every single player.
Yeah. So then, who have you got in fourth? Chelsea then, Simon.
Yeah, I've got Chelsea in fourth. I think that whilst they have missed out on a few of their targets, being obviously Rafinha and also Jules Koundé, I think that the signing of Koulibaly is a really good signing, and I actually think that probably he's a better option to have than someone like Christensen, and probably on par or slightly better than Rudiger. So if they add potentially Fofana, maybe they get him, maybe they don't. They've had that $75 million bid rejected either way. I think they've still added some good depth there, and to bring in Raheem Sterling, I think is like
it's an elite pickup.
20 goal involvements last season, I think just helps them get through.
Yeah, definitely puts them in the right direction. I just think they need someone else on top of that, because they've always been good defensively. Like, they never really, and apart from the second half of last season, they don't really leak that many goals. It's always like a tough game when you play Chelsea. So adding Koulibaly is just going to make it even harder, like defensively, to break them down.
I don't see them not getting Cucurella. I've been reading a few more.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's confirmed again today, as it was confirmed yesterday, and then you're muted again, Vernie. I saw you talking, and I was like, hello? Hello?
Today.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
I saw your mouth moving, and I was like, do you want to stop whispering?
No, I was just saying that Fabrizio doubled down today, so,
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't usually double down on what he...
Yeah, so I think that's as close to a done deal as possible, which is a good pickup.
Oh yeah, he's excellent pickup because he gives them centre back cover and cover for Chilwell at left back. So
yeah, him and Chilwell's a good left side, and then I think Alonso is getting a bit old, but not the worst player to come in and do a job for a game or two.
Speaking of which, speaking of Chelsea, sorry to interrupt you, Simon, and not to divert into FPL real quickly, but I have signed Azpilicueta. I signed Azpi because he re-signed for 2 years, and no one signed him, so I got Spence out and got Azpi in.
Well, yes, I wasn't sure about whether Spence would start.
Yeah, and
I think he will. I think he will eventually.
I don't even know if Azpi's going to start, but I feel like he's a better chance than Spence at the moment. So.
Oh, yeah, Reece James is fit, right? But then I suppose he could be in the three centre-backs, Azpi, I guess.
That's what I mean.
Azpi won't start his rotation? Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, a lot of teams, I don't know who's going to start. Like, I don't know if Madison's going to play because he's linked with Newcastle.
Mm.
So it'll be
I didn't know that about Aspilicueta. So knowing
yeah,
that,
neither. Because I thought he was like heavily linked with Barca.
Yeah, but now he signed for 2 more years.
I think
Interesting.
it further strengthens their my argument for the fact that I think that they'll get in the 4. I think that keeping someone like him, who's club captain as well too, is more important for reasons other than just what he can contribute on the pitch.
I don't think he'll start like many of the big games because I think like last season he was getting targeted whenever he like played like a top six team. But he's good to have as a rotation player. But then I presume we all have Spurs at 3rd.
Yes.
Which
yes.
they're gonna be like closer to 2nd. I reckon it'll be real tight between like Liverpool, City, and Spurs.
Yeah, so I think Spurs are gonna be closer to the 2nd than they are to 4th. Yeah.
Because that Basuma signing is like what they've needed for like a few seasons now. They've been trying to get like a good midfielder. Like they tried Benteke. Holberg's good. Who else have they gone through in the midfield? But I think Basuma's like a proven young talent in the Prem. Who? Oh, and Harry. They've had like Harry Winks. They've had they've like
not even him. Like even defensively as well, Perisic.
Yeah,
Perisic from last season has been good.
I'm not sure about Lenglet, but it's good depth because he barely got game time at Barca, which scares me.
They're an interesting prospect for me because I think that there's as much chance that Tottenham could go and finish 5th and Arsenal make it into the top. And
imagine
much like
that. Imagine that.
Realistically, those 4 slots, I think could be completely interchangeable. But I think that if you have to go off based off signings and preseason, like ins and outs and statistics based on last season, which is really all you can do because it's just
at the moment,
but they have crazy attack in Kulusevski, Son,
scary.
Richarlison, Lucas Moura. So they can score goals. They've got probably, it's hard to say that he's one of the most successful managers in recent history because obviously you've got Klopp and Pep Guardiola in there. But I think that when he's come in and done a job at Chelsea and so on, kind of undeniable that he just came in and took them from 6th to 1st, right?
Yeah, and you can see like the way even when they're like videos of them training, they're all like I've never seen training videos when they're all bloody passed out on the ground after a session. Like they're definitely getting put in the right direction. So I think Conte is a big factor. Probably like one of the most important, to be honest.
They backed him as well too, which I don't think United has really done very well with Ten Hag. They've gone out and they've said, "Yeah, we'll take Perisic, who's 33 years old or something like that."
Mm-hmm.
He wanted him. They went and got him. They've gone out and they've got Basuma on a great deal. To be fair,
and they got Richarlison as a backup, which is crazy.
Oh, we forget about Richarlison as well.
Yeah. And then they have Lucas Moura, who probably like starts in a lot of teams in the Prem at the moment.
He's very underrated.
Yeah.
Moura.
I worry about their defense a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like
Romero
is a great signing. But,
I can't say I've watched Lenglet play, but all I know is that he didn't get much game time when he was playing at Barca, Barca haven't really been that good defensively, which is what scares me recently, at least.
You just never know, though. New club, he might,
Yeah, well,
play differently.
Could be good. And who do they play at the moment? They have Eric Dyer and then Romero and Sanchez.
Yeah.
So if Lenglet can take that Dyer role.
I've had Davies deputising there as well too at times as well.
Yeah. And they have that young English Tanganga.
Tanganga. There's also
Tanganga.
I think he's gone on loan. Can't remember his name off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
well, they have the depth to like push it all the way to the end, which is why I have them above like Arsenal, United, and Chelsea. I think they have like a better squad overall.
Yeah.
It's whether they can like get results in those big games
Against the top 6.
Yeah.
If they can get results up against the top 6, then 100%. Even like away games.
Yeah, away games are the hardest. But first and second.
This is gonna be interesting. I want to hear Simon's first.
Yeah.
I know yours, Charles. So
you want me to give you his first?
Yeah. Go on. Second. That doesn't really matter.
You want me to give you second first?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think Liverpool are going to be bridesmaids again.
I have the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on, Charles. Cecil, come on now.
I think for me,
we're gonna be biased. Come on.
I wanted to be biased so bad. But don't worry, I'll get biased later when we get into the awards. I just City. Like, I presume everyone except Bernie has City first. The only thing that scares me about City is I think they're going to fully put their cards into Champions League. Because I don't think they care about the Prem as much as, like, previous seasons. Because how many times have they won it in the last, like, 5 seasons? 4?
Well, so there is a bit of history that they're potentially going for this season that you may not know about, which is that...
I also think like they had the best chance last season. They were winning by 2 goals in the 80th minute and somehow lost to Real Madrid. But like, I just feel like all their focus is going to be on Champions League, because if they go through another season and get knocked out in the Champions League after signing Haaland, I just think it's like a bit of like, it's crazy to say winning the Prem is like a failure, but with the way they've been playing the last like 5 years, it's just expected for them to win the Prem. And if they can't like get results in the Champions League, it's just, I don't know if it's a failure, but it's just like I don't think failure is the right word for it. But it's a bit of a disappointing season.
Look at Juventus and PSG. Managers have won the league in those competitions and been fired at the end of the season. So.
That's the only thing that was like second guessing, like to put City at first. Like, I wanted to be really biased and just say Liverpool because it's going to be a walk in the park, but I know it'll come down to. But I know it'll come down. It'll be like just as close as it was last year, I'm sure. Because losing Sterling and Jesus is probably a lot bigger of a deal than some people make it out to be. Because I think Jesus made it way easier for them to play because he could play anywhere in that front three, whereas Haaland's literally standing in the center of the pitch and he's not moving.
I think it's gonna take them time to play with Haaland because
you can already tell in pre-season,
right? Yeah. It's just a different player to what they're used to. So, and plus me being biased, so that's why I think I got Liverpool first. It's just the hunger has to be there, right? Like, we've won it recently, but the hunger has to be there after last season, right? Just to take all logic out of it, emotionally, it has to be. That has to be it, right? We have to
we've got the motivation
in City right now.
Yeah, definitely, especially in the league,
right?
Because we've been so close. And especially after how last season ended, we were literally had one hand on the trophy.
Mate, we had one hand on a quad.
Yeah, we were about to grab it with both hands. But that was like, as depressed as I was after that final day of the Prem, it was just like, That's what you like live for as a fan of football, to be
The
like
final day.
watching those moments, to be like close and decided on the
It's so
last
hard
day.
just to do it too.
Yeah. But you do have to give credit to City, unfortunately.
Because
You know
they
what
started
about
playing football in the
City?
second half.
Yeah.
I reckon the thing with City is that they had that Champions League disappointment last year, but I think they already proved that they learned something from it on that last day, where it was almost like
Yeah, felt
That was
like
Liverpool
this.
like. You could say
Yeah,
it's
it
Liverpool
looked.
like.
I went through those emotions a while ago now, but the same ones that you went through, where there was certain team QPR were winning, and then a couple of certain players stepped up and scored those goals right at the death. So I think that they've got a bit more steel, and they've got their squad is starting to look together nicely from like an age perspective as well too. I think yes, losing Jesus is actually a huge loss, but I think that the problem was going to be is that someone like him was going to start to become more and more unsettled. He needed to be moved on. They moved him on. They got a good fee for him, and then they brought in Julian Alvarez, who, in my opinion, is kind of like Gabriel Jesus 2.0.
And then they just signed like probably one of the top 10 DMs in the Prem in Phillips.
Yeah.
So it's him and like City have the better squad, but I think the motivation is there for Liverpool to like obviously take it to the end of the season again as usual. But I think Spurs will throw a spanner in the works, because them being like as strong as they are this season is just going to make it harder for City and Liverpool. Because like the top six hasn't been as strong as it is this season.